If you want to be overpowered and know the best skills, you are in the right place. With more than 100 hours of in-game experience, I will be giving my top 25 skills and techniques that you can't afford to miss, so you can be overpowered and unstoppable. Like for example, the Wolf's early summoning skills, like the Wolf's Howl, Wolf Standoff, and Wolf Strike Summon. You will be seeing bundled skills like this to keep the list concise. These skills should be your primary focus on getting, especially in the early game, since these skills will give you the best chance to summon the wolf after doing an Onryu's Howl, stands off, and when throwing weapons. Now you've learned how to summon your trusty companion, but letting him stay on the field is a totally different story. Unlocking Wolf's Vengeance after you unlock Wolf's Howl is suggested so your companion can stay in the field. Aside from that, you can skip the other skill under the Wolf's combat tree, and as mentioned, focusing on the summoning tree is suggested and you can worry about the combat skills later on. The Wolf's Call is a separate skill that you need to unlock since it will require you to unlock a total of 4 Wolf's Dens, and then Atsu will learn how to play the Song of the Wolf. This skill will give you the chance to call the wolf before you raid an enemy camp. And when you finally unlock all of the other skills, the final wolf skill is the Primal Bond that lets you summon the wolf in a lot of locations. Now the role skill sounds boring, but trust me, it provides a lot of value than you are thinking. Fighting a group of enemies is so fun in this game, and you will be juggling from weapon to weapon to counter each target. The role ability lets you disengage effectively and gain short distance from a herd and recuperate, especially if the enemies are spamming special attacks. This skill simply makes combat more fluid and realistic. One of the first skills that you need to unlock in this game is the Onryu's Howl. This is your special ability that can terrify your targets before the combat even starts. Very effective when dealing with a group of enemies. And keep in mind that terrified targets receives more damage, so hack away. You can use this skill after scoring multiple kills while not being damaged, or else the Onryu's Howl counter will reset. If you hate the reset mechanic, buy the Charm of the Onryu's Protection from Merchant Taro, and the hits taken will now reduce the kill streaks instead of completely resetting it. If you're getting value so far, subscribe to the channel. Liking the video and engaging in the comments helps me more than you can imagine. The Shifting Strike looks boring at first, allowing you to deal heavy attacks in an instant after a weapon switch. You may not see the value of this skill in the early game, but in late game, every second counts in combat, especially when dealing with a lot of enemies. Being able to deal with heavy attacks right away makes combat fluid, since you will be juggling between different weapon types a lot and using heavy attacks to break their stances. And of course, no one wants to die in combat encounters, so the Onryu's Will and its improved version will save you on many occasions, especially if you are still adjusting to the game. This skill only costs 2 spirit charges for you to resuscitate yourself, and yes, as long as you have the spirit charges, you can continuously abuse this skill. Not many people know that throwable weapons are broken in this game. Take it as your free quickfire weapon that can even one-shot targets, or if the target doesn't die, it will suffer great stagger damage instead. You might be throwing your weapons incorrectly by manually aiming it, but pressing square right away after you pick up the throwable weapon will allow Atsu to track enemies automatically and throw the weapon. Stealth fans will love this skill, since the Hunter's Ear will allow you to detect or sense nearby targets so you can plan your attacks. Stealth gameplay is all about route planning, so this skill is an absolute game changer. Unlock this skill by progressing the Kitsune's main story in Theseus Ridge, and your stealth playstyle will be on the next level. More skills for stealth lovers, and the Brute and Slaughter Leader skills are pretty much suggested. You may find yourself powerless against brutes and enemy camp leaders at the early game when doing stealth approaches, but when you unlock these skills, watch them go down like papers, especially when performing Slaughter Leader. Make your stealth gameplay even more godly by unlocking the Chain Assassinations. This skill will allow you to assassinate 3 regular enemies with a very satisfying animation. Not only you can pull Chain Assassination in a traditional way, but using the Smoke Bomb will allow you to abuse this skill. Once the Smoke Bomb sets off, you can easily disengage and avoid detection, or perform Chain Assassinations as long as you have Smoke Bombs. Concentration is yet another skill that you should pay attention to, especially if you love to play builds surrounding ranged weapons. What it does is, this skill gives you the ability to slow down time so you can have better aim and take out multiple targets at a time. I cannot stress how important this arm counter is all throughout the game. Unlock this skill as soon as you can, since this is the only way for you to directly counter yellow glint attacks with focus attacks. You can dodge yellow glint attacks, but disarming targets will also make them wide open for you to close in for the kill. And not only that, you can pick up the weapon you just disarmed and throw it for additional damage. All of the weapon upgrades across all skill trees are important and you will max them all anyway. However, in the early game, unlocking the skill Lethal Talons will make your stealth strategies godly when using the Kusarigama. With a significant amount of range, you can pull and hack enemies silently and kill them. This skill is truly broken as you can pick one enemy at a time until every enemy dies in the vicinity. Not only that, you can also abuse this skill in boss fights by using the smoke bomb in front of a boss and using the Lethal Talon and deal tons of damage. Perfect parry and dodge counters in this game hits like an absolute freight train. Instead of rolling away from red glint attacks, you can unlock the perfect dodge skill and get good at pulling off precise dodges and countering enemies in the process. I highly suggest concentrating on weapon skills that increase stagger damage. Like for example, the strength of lighting of the katana, the strength of winds of the dual katana, or the strength of the mountain of the odachi. The same goes for the yari and the kusarigama. Melee combat mainly revolves around staggering enemies, and the faster you stagger enemies, the faster they die. And as mentioned, all of the weapon upgrades are important and you will unlock them all anyway at endgame. But if you lack the skill points in the early game, I suggest mainly focusing on these stagger skills as well for each weapon type. Speaking of skill points, if you just started the game, I made a 47-minute early definitive progression guide that you can follow. This guide will give you 6 new weapon types, 4 broken armor sets, and a lot of skill points. Link in the description or find it by clicking the card here. The list goes spicier from here, and the claw and talon skill of the Kusarigama allows you to interrupt targets and destroy shields in an instant. This maneuver also pulls enemy towards you, so it is best to perform light attacks to deal even more damage since the enemy's stance was broken. The claw and talon is an exclusive spirit technique of the Kusarigama, and you can unlock this skill by progressing Master's Enomoto's questline after unlocking the weapon. This applies to the odachi and yari as well, where you will complete straightforward activities, and when you are done, they will teach you the final technique of the weapon. The Thundering Wave is the exclusive spirit technique of the yari, where you will charge in and impale the enemies and launch them into the air, making them vulnerable to attacks afterwards. What I usually do is follow up light attacks with the yari or use the Yumi with an explosive arrow to deal tons of damage while in concentration mode while the enemy is down. Unlock the spirit technique by progressing Sensei Takahashi's Yari questline, and he will teach this skill to you in his dojo in Ishikari Plains. And of course, the spirit technique of the odachi is taking the spotlight, which hits enemies with a devastating downward force, inflicting massive stagger damage and knocking down brute type enemies. Not many people realize that knockdown brute enemies are as good as dead, since you can follow up and execute a finishing move and go in for the kill. Just like the other weapon masters, get the skill by progressing Master Yoshida's Odachi questline, and he will teach you this technique for you to keep all throughout the game. Takezo's Dual Slash is a monster of a skill, allowing you to deal massive damage to 2 targets. And most of the time, this skill can take out at least 2 enemies in combat by dismembering their arms. Very effective spirit technique when dealing with multiple enemies, and if you use this skill on a single target or a boss, both hits will hit them and deal stagger and raw damage instead. The main caveat is that unlocking this technique differs from other weapon types. After unlocking the dual katana, you need to visit every dueling tree in Yotei Grasslands and Tokachi Range and defeat each of the Takezo's disciple guarding the tree. The first one is located near the Shikotsu River, and the second one is near the Yotei River. Beat the third disciple in Tokachi Range, located near the Monument Tree. The fourth one can be found near the Tomamo Marshlands, and finally, the last disciple is located near the Nikapu Falls. After beating all of the Takezo's disciples, Takezo himself will approach you and ask you to wait under the coastal dueling tree. This will then lead to a duel on the beach of Yotei Grasslands. During this encounter, he will then teach you the skill. The Heavenly Slash can be unlocked very early in the game, and you just need a regular skill point to do so. Just like the other spirit technique, this skill can deal tons of stagger and raw damage to targets by hitting enemies with a focused AI strike. Get the skill as soon as you can, since the majority of the enemies in the game use katanas, so you will be getting immense value from it. Even endgame enemies fail to last when getting hit by this technique. I cannot stress how broken the Onryo strike is, and you should be unlocking this skill as soon as possible. This skill costs 3 spirit charges, and this skill is your ultimate skill if you put it that way, aside from the next skill on this list. And what it does is it damages the target big time and disarms them in the process. Most of the time, the target dies when you perform the skill, but if the target survives, the Onryo strike will also disarm the target. Remember, you can pick up the disarmed weapon and throw it for more damage potential. The Ghost Stance is a direct upgrade of the Onryo's Howl in the late game. What it does, it allows Asu to release her inner strength, allowing her to perform devastating attack combinations and kill multiple targets at once. You can use the Charm of Eager Revenge to reduce the kill streak requirement of the Ghost Stance by 1, so you can access this skill faster. You will be unlocking this special skill by progressing through the Dragon's Quest in Oshima Coast. A little bit of a minor Easter egg spoiler warning, so consider this as my friendly notice. The Dance of Wrath is a direct upgrade of the Onryo strike, allowing you to perform a whopping 3 devastating disarming strikes, perfect for multiple targets. Be reminded that you can throw the weapons you just disarmed, so you will be dealing tons of damage in a flash. Get this exclusive upgrade by completing the Stormblade quest, and yes, this quest will give you Jin Sakai's mask, helmet, his blade, and also the Dance of Wrath skill. Start this quest by approaching a guy inside the Matsumai castle, and I'm showing his location on the screen right now. This guy will lead you to the Forgotten Shrine, where Ugetsu is waiting for you for another tale. Climb the Forgotten Shrine and enjoy a lot of tribute to Jin Sakai, and ultimately get all of his items and unlock the Dance of Wrath skill. Truly a remarkable Easter egg. I firmly believe that the best of the best skill to unlock is the Perfect Parry. Perfect Parry in this game is so broken since it can bypass the weapon type system, meaning you can use your katana to perfect parry pole arm enemies and decimate them in the process, even though the katana is weak to that specific weapon type. Perfect parries can make enemies vulnerable in an instant and counter them with a strong hitting attack. If you dedicate yourself mastering perfect parries and equip the Bounty Master armor, you will be indestructible in this game. This armor will make perfect parry and dodge window times easier to pull off, and the armor will also allow you to counter attack with 3 heavy strikes instead of 1. Add the Charm of Futsunushi to make the perfect parry windows even easier, and you will be addicted to this monstrous setup. I recently covered the strongest build in the game that greatly optimized the parry build. I link it in the description, or you can find it by clicking the card here. There are a lot of good skills that I was not able to include on this list, but these are the ones that I will be prioritizing when progressing in the game. But if you just started the game and want to know the best beginner tips, this video has it all. So click on it, and I will catch you on the next one.